This is part 2 of how to build a basic cabinet. If you missed part 1, you can go back and watch it. It was how to build the base. This episode is how to build the cabinet box. So we're making one cabinet box from one sheet of plywood, ripping down the biggest pieces on the table saw so that we can get all 4 pieces out of one sheet of plywood. This is 3/4 inch plywood for the sides and the bottom, and the back will use 1/4 inch plywood. Again, ripping down the sides. It's always a good idea to label the pieces so you don't get them mixed up. Thanks, Devin. Okay, now I'm using the circular saw to make one of the rip cuts that was too big for the table saw. I clamped a scrap piece of wood so that I could cut in a perfectly straight line. My arms were not long enough and I had to go around the side to finish it off. Back to the table saw to make the last 2 cuts for either the sides or the bottom. With the remaining plywood, I'm cutting down some strips that will be the stretchers. So I'm just ripping down 4-inch strips that will go on the top and the back of the cabinet box.
You gonna freehand this?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the 1/4 inch plywood for the back of the cabinet, and I'm actually just gonna freehand this one. I drew a line with a pencil and I'm using the rip cut guide without the arm on it and just freehanding it. This one doesn't need to be perfect since it's going to slide into the grooves of the sides of the boxes. Okay, now we are cutting the groove for the back of the cabinet to slide into. The groove is 3/8 of an inch deep, and I used brass setup blocks to get the blade height correct. So this is the right thickness now, so I need to move the blade so it cuts.
Bigger. So you got to go like 7/8 of an inch?
Let's unplug it. So right now it's 3/4 of an inch.
You want to go bigger?
Yeah.
You want to move it? Yeah, over 1/8 of an inch.
Right, but bigger is going to be. And the kerf is a 1/16 of an inch. So if I move it a 1/16.
Well, check it. It's not plugged in, right?
No. So it should be lined up.
Yeah. No, let's slide it a little bit further forward. Slide up, slide it. Keep going forward towards me. You could even, here, check it out. Look. Maybe move it over a little bit more. Maybe not though. Maybe that's fine. Let's just try that. Let's just try that and see if it fits. Yeah. Okay, ready?
So the kerf is actually 1/8 of an inch, not 1/16, like I said. But anyway, you move the fence away from the blade, which is what I eventually figured out, to make that groove bigger. So now I'm testing it after running it through twice, and the 1/4-inch plywood fits, and it does not need to be super snug. You want it to be able to slide in pretty freely. So next we are trimming down the stretchers to the right length, and need 2 for the top and 2 for the back, so 4 pieces total. And again, using the scraps of the 3/4-inch plywood for this, and cutting them down with the chop saw. Next, I'm drilling pocket holes in the stretchers and the cabinet box. You want to do 2 holes on each side of the stretchers so that when you screw it in, it doesn't twist. I'm using the Craig jig pocket hole jig, which comes with that clamp and the drill bit. And this is super handy for putting together 2 pieces of wood that don't need to be very finished. So all of these pocket holes will be hidden, so they don't need to look super fancy. I use this pocket hole jig for pretty much every woodworking project I've done. It's really handy to have and very easy to use and quite affordable. I will link all of the products that I use in the description in case you need them.
You squeeze at the end of it. Move your hand up to the end of the
Now I'm drilling pocket holes on the 2 sides of the cabinet box, and I'm drilling the holes on the outside of the box because it will be hidden by the washer and dryer. If I put them on the inside of the cabinet, it wouldn't be a huge deal, but they would be definitely more visible. So this goes like this.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Part of the old, what's it called? Saw. Okay, so slide.
Put a piece under there. All right, let's put this thing together. So I have the bottom of the cabinet on the floor, and I'm going to attach one side at a time using these super handy corner clamps. Highly recommend you use clamps to keep everything square and held in place while you screw it in. also helpful to have two so you can put them on both sides. All right, screwing in the side, attaching it to the bottom of the cabinet with 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. And again, the Craig jig comes with the drill bit that you need. Just making sure it's staying square. I usually put all of the screws in about halfway, and then I'll go back and tighten them all down. All right, let's do the other side, same way. Using the corner clamps to hold it in place, making sure the pocket holes are on the outside of the cabinet and everything is nice and square and flush before screwing it together. Also a good idea to use wood glue. I didn't glue anything down to dry fit everything first, but you can go back and definitely put some wood glue in there to make it even stronger.
Yep. Go.
Push out a little bit on the bottom.
Good.
That's fine here.
Okay.
Okay, now that I have the sides on, I'm going to add the 2 stretchers on the top. Again, using clamps to hold it in place. I have 2 24-inch clamps that you can fit together to make one long clamp. I should probably invest in some longer clamps, but this is working just fine for now. So again, using the 1 1/4 inch Craig jig screws to secure it together. For this, you want the pocket holes to be on the top because they'll be hidden by the top of the cabinet box, or in my case, it's going to be a butcher block countertop. Okay, and the other stretcher on the front of the cabinet box. The stretchers give the cabinet stability and, again, keep everything square and nice and strong.
Keep squeezing. Yep. Good.
Okay, remember those grooves I cut on the sides? Well, this is what it's for. That 1/4-inch plywood back is going to slide right into the grooves. And I'm not even going to glue this in or screw it or anything. It just slides right in there. And then I'm attaching 2 more stretchers on the back. I left exactly 3/4 of an inch room between the end of the cabinet box and that groove that I cut for the back piece so that these stretchers would fit and it would be flush. Okay, last one. It fits nice and snug, so I don't even need to clamp it on there. Just screw it in. Moment of truth. Let's see if it fits. So this cabinet is going between our washer and dryer and is going to have a pull-out garbage bin. Fits like a glove. That's it. Cabinet box, done. Making sure it's level, which it is. And part 3 will be building the cabinet door.